JKB back with another episode. Today I'm reviewing Overwatch on the show. Thank you so much to ANC Games for sending over the review copy. Without them, I wouldn't be doing this. Also, guys, it means the world to me. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, at the end, if you like what I did, subscribe. It means the world to me because I like to eat food. Also, I'd like to thank everybody who's been tuning into my live streams that I do as I upload new videos. So if you're seeing this and it was just uploaded, guaranteed I'm on my Facebook page right now doing a live show interacting with you guys. From now on, every time I release a video, I'll be doing a live show, and if you miss it, you can go back and watch it. Go to my live shows. It would mean the world to me that I get to talk to you guys about the game that I just reviewed. Let's get into the review right now. Overwatch features squad-based combat with two opposing teams of 6 players on each side. The story of Overwatch seems to be almost non-existent. However, as I started to play the tutorial, I realized that the mechanics were spot on, and as I started to play the online modes, I never noticed or even cared that there was hardly any story on this disc. At the beginning of each match, you can pick between 21 different characters that each have their own unique abilities and role classes. You can switch your character out after you've been killed, which completely changes the pacing of each match. However, you want to be very careful because this can also throw off the balance of your whole team. At launch, the game will have 12 different maps and 4 different game modes. I gotta say this, the 4 game modes are the standard first-person shooter online game modes. There's nothing that you haven't seen here before. However, I have to say this, due to the fact that there are 21 different characters with their unique abilities and role classes, all of these game modes will come and go, and you hardly ever notice that you're doing the same thing over and over and over. For instance, one of them is called Assault. The attacking team is tasked with capturing 2 points on a map, while the defending team must stop them. Now, of course, this is standard first-person shooter online multiplayer. Game modes, however, I can't stress this enough, this game takes it to a whole other level due to how fun and unique all of these characters are and how they work together. I think Overwatch can be split into 2 categories, a Twitch shooter and a team-based shooter. What does this mean? This means that Blizzard Entertainment has nailed down both aspects to make the best first-person shooter I've played since GoldenEye. And I don't mean in terms of the mechanics and all of this. I mean in terms of the amount of fun I've had playing a first-person shooter. I haven't had this much fun since Doom, which I'm also reviewing this week. However, this might, I don't know yet because I'm still playing through Doom, but this right now, as I stand, this is the most fun I've ever had playing a first-person shooter, period. And that is saying a lot. So let's get into why this is the best first-person shooter I've ever played. Each character in Overwatch has a different role. The 4 roles are offense, defense, tank, and support. Of course, if you're a fan of first-person shooters, you understand these 4 different roles in video games. But let me explain it this way. This is a game that thought about being the support character and said, how can we change it up from being the usual boring medic to something that you'd want to play as? And I have to stress this, each of the characters in this game play the way they should, but not only that, they also feel unique. And the support characters, for me personally, are really fun to play. To be able to go around and heal your characters on screen is miraculous. And because the game fucking gives you points based on how you play the game opposed to how many kills you get, you don't have to worry about using a support character and having a shitty weapon and not being able to rack up those kills, because your job essentially in the team as support is not to get the kills. It is to weaken the other team and support your own team. This is where the game is totally different than every other first-person shooter out there, and I absolutely love it. One thing I wanted to talk about are the loot boxes in the game. Now, these are the microtransactions, and this is the extra money that Blizzard Entertainment wants to make off of the people that love cosmetic DLC. Now, I say that in a weird way because The loot boxes are given to you every time that you level up in the game, but you can also purchase them. Prices are online for those. I'm not going to get into the detail of the pricing, but I'll tell you what's in these things and why people are going apeshit over them. There's one reason. First and foremost, you get cosmetic items. So you get victory poses, paint sprays, alternative colored schemes, and voice lines for your character. Now, these are all things that do not affect the main gameplay whatsoever, so don't worry about that. The microtransactions are not invasive in this game. You do unlock them as you play the game. However, at the rate you do unlock them versus the rate of you buying them, if you're the type of person that wants to look like the most badass character in the game because you want to have the special whatever skin, you can buy those things, but it all comes down to chance because the loot crate essentially is a randomized item box. You open it up, you see what's in it, that's what you get. So you have an option here. You can play the game or you can buy them. I wanted to bring that up because some people hate this idea and some people love it. Me personally, I don't care about the cosmetics. I'm more worried about the gameplay mechanics. And I'll say this, holy fuck, they nailed them. One of the coolest aspects of the game is the XP system. It is not simply about winning or losing. The game focuses on how effective you are with your character's powers, and then also a voting system that determines the most valuable players from each match and puts the stats on screen and lets the players vote on who should get extra XP based on what they've achieved in that game. So say I got 40 kills, sure as shit, I'm gonna show up in that voting system, and if I have the best achievement voted on, I get extra experience. And as you level up in the game, each time you level up, you'll get a loot crate, which will unlock tons of different cosmetic items. Before I get to my final score, I'm not going to talk about the 21 characters, their names, their abilities, or anything they can do, and I'll tell you why at the end of this review. But right now, I'm going to get into the cons. One of the cons has to be the version on PC is $49 in Canada and $69 on console. Now, PC Master Race, all the way, oh my god, he likes PC now? What's the fucking deal? Listen, I like video games. That's it. I don't like the fact that the PC people get it cheaper than the console people because I just like video games. I want more people to play this game. I don't think it's fair to the console version that you have to pay an extra $20 to get the disc-based version. It just doesn't make sense to me in terms of a marketing, branding campaign. I don't know why they would do this. Now, of course, so many people from the PC Master Race are going to be angry about that comment I just made, but guess what? I don't fucking care. Now, moving on to the negatives, there's some other ones. Lack of game modes at launch. There's only 4, but Blizzard has announced that all free maps and characters will be coming after the release of the game. This is spectacular. There's no DLC season pass, thank you God. That's amazing. So that's not really a negative, but there's not too many game modes when you first launch the game up. Last but not least, the story mode, which I didn't talk about at all. That's because it seems like Blizzard really cut it off and put it to an offline mode that you can view on your own if you cared about this stuff. Now, I feel that Blizzard had the same idea that Destiny had, which would be you go and you go read books or you go watch a movie somewhere else. That's where you get the story. But I have to say, the world that they've created in this game is totally better than anything that was ever in Destiny. So it is a negative because there's no story. It is just a multiplayer game. But in saying that, before you chop my fucking head off, because I know how you guys are, I don't give a shit. That's gonna not be really negative. It's negative to some people, and I have to mention it because you guys have to understand, just because you don't give a shit, or I don't give a shit that there's no fucking story in this game, doesn't mean that there's some gamers out there that feel that they deserve a story on a $69 game here in Canada. That's okay. That's what's called an opinion. So calm the fuck down before you start losing your shit. I'm with you guys. Who gives a shit about the story? But listen, I like to actually cover all bases on this, and I feel that some gamers might be, and I have to tell you, let down. There's no story. That's just how it is, and you're gonna have to fucking deal with it. Now, the pros in this game, there's tons of them. I'm gonna go through them quick and then give you the final score and tell you why I'm not telling you anything about the 21 characters. The balance in terms of all of the abilities that the characters have, when there's 21 of them, and you start to see some of them on what they do, and the defense and the offensive and the tank and the support, and how they all work together. The balance is just miraculous. For a game that just launched, I'm very impressed with this. Second of all, amazing character design. Unbelievable. It feels like a Pixar film at times. I'm talking about the actual character design, the animations, how cute it is. Very, very subtle sound effects that some of the robots do that you really, really remember. Same as like E.T. making his noises back in the day, like, oh. You get that sort of magic feeling from the characters. I have to mention this. Amazing weapon design. Unbelievable. 21 different characters with so many options, and so many of them are spectacular to use. Some of them you'll be like, oh, this is a standard first-person shooter type thing, and I get that. But some of the weapons in this, guys, are so fun to use, and I have to say that's one of the main highlights of the game. The game is also very, very rewarding in terms of how it gives you experience points. It's, like I said, it's not based on winning and losing. It's about how you play the game personally. It's not about just winning. You just don't kill. You don't get a ton of kills and feel like I won the game. No, you have to use your character's abilities to really feel rewarded. Also, the voting system it gives you some sort of empowerment when the team and the opposite team, you just vote for you for kicking ass in the game. So say you get 40 kills, it'll show up on the screen at the end with a whole bunch of other achievements that other players have made. And if you win that vote, you feel like you've just won the lottery. It feels great. Absolutely flawless shooting mechanics. One of the best, if not the best, shooting mechanics I've ever felt in a first-person shooter are in this game. And that is why I'm giving Overwatch a 9.5 out of 10. Unbelievable experience, and the reason why I'm not getting into the details of each of the characters is because you need to go out there and buy it right now. Simply put, the best first-person shooter experience as a whole since GoldenEye, when I sat on a couch with my 3 other friends and played it for 9 hours straight. It is that much fun. Thank you so much for watching JKB, and I'll see you on my Doom review, which is coming very, very soon. Thank you so much. It means the world to me that you subscribe. Thank you very much. Time to send the nudes out.